All right, fam, BBTV here, and today we're diving deep, real deep. We're talking Kensington, Philly. Yeah, that Kensington. I remember the first time I rolled up here, camera in hand, ready to document. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little spooked. Heard all the stories, seen the headlines, the news reports, the documentaries. But what I found here? Man, it's a whole different ballgame when you're looking it in the eye, when you're breathing the same air, when you're hearing the stories firsthand. See Kensington, it's got a rep, a tough one. People talk about the drugs, the poverty, the despair, but behind the grit, behind the struggle, there's people. Real people. People with names, with histories, with stories, with hearts, with dreams that got sidelined somewhere along the way. Dreams that got crushed. Dreams that got forgotten. And that's what I'm here to share with you today. To show you the faces behind the headlines. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it took a minute to break the ice. I couldn't just walk in there like some tourists, stick a camera in their faces and expect them to open up. Nah, it doesn't work like that. I showed up with some grub sandwiches, water, fruit, you know, the basics. Figured it was a start, a sign that I wasn't there to judge, but to help. And slowly, cautiously, folks started coming around. A nod here, a thanks there, a wary glance, a hesitant smile. Then the story started to trickle out, like a slow drip from a leaky faucet, each drop precious, each drop revealing a little more of the truth. I met this one dude, always rocking a faded baseball cap, pulled low over his eyes. Reminded me of my old man, the way he carried himself, the way he spoke. He told me about his glory days playing ball, how he almost made it to the big leagues. Scouted by the Phillies, he said. Had a tryout, everything. Life threw him a curveball, he said. A series of bad breaks, one after another. Lost his job, lost his family, lost his hope, ended up here. But you know what? He still had that spark in his eye when he talked about baseball. That love hadn't died. It was buried deep, but it was still there. And then there's this lady, always collecting stray bits of trash, discarded bottles, broken toys, twisted metal, making little sculptures out of them. Called herself an urban artist. Said she was giving new life to things people had thrown away. She had this wild imagination, saw beauty in the discarded, in the forgotten. We'd sit and chat for hours, her telling me about her visions, me just listening, mesmerized by her creativity, her resilience. She saw the world differently, and she made me see it differently too. These ain't just homeless people, you know? They're not just statistics, not just faces in the crowd. They're survivors. They're resilient. They're funny. They're kind. They're human. They have dreams. They have fears. They have hopes, just like you and me. And somewhere along the line, they became my family, my Kensington family. I swing by as often as I can, bringing food, clothes, blankets, whatever I can scrounge up. We laugh, we joke, we share stories. We talk about life, about the future, about the past. They call me BV, like we've known each other forever, like I'm one of them. But here's the thing, fam, and this is where it gets real. This is where the smile fades and the reality hits hard. As much as I love these folks, as much as I feel connected to them, there's this weight on my chest, this guilt, this nagging feeling that I'm not doing enough. I see them huddled in the cold, sharing scraps, their eyes filled with a weariness that cuts right through me, a weariness that speaks of years of hardship, of broken promises, of shattered dreams. And I think about my warm bed, my full fridge, my family waiting for me back home, the comforts I take for granted every single day. I see their faces and I see my own family, my daughter, my wife, my mama. What if that was them? What if one wrong turn, one bad break landed them here? What if they were the ones struggling to survive, the ones forgotten by society? That thought, it haunts me. It keeps me up at night. I try to do what I can, bring a little light into their lives, offer a little hope, but it never feels like enough. How do you fix a broken system? How do you heal wounds that run so deep? How do you erase years of trauma and hardship? I don't have the answers, y'all. I wish I did. I wish I could wave a magic wand and make everything better. But what I do know is this: these people deserve to be seen. They deserve to be heard. They deserve a chance. They deserve a life. And maybe, just maybe, by sharing their stories, by shining a light on their struggles, we can start to make a difference. Maybe we can inspire someone to help, to donate, to volunteer. Maybe we can change the way people see the homeless. Kensington ain't just a place of despair. It's a place of humanity. It's a place of connection. It's a place where, even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can still shine through. It's a place where people are fighting to survive, fighting to hold on to hope, fighting to maintain their dignity. So next time you see someone down on their luck, don't look away, don't judge. Offer a smile, a kind word, a helping hand. You never know what a difference it might make. You never know what they've been through. You never know what they're capable of. Because at the end of the day, we're all just walking each other home. We're all just trying to make it through this life the best we can. And sometimes all it takes is a little kindness, a little compassion to make a world of difference. Keep it real, y'all. And remember, every single person has a story worth telling. It's up to us to listen. I've spent a lot of time in Kensington over the past few months, and the people I've met there, they've become my family. And their stories, they need to be told. So join me as we dive deep into the heart of Kensington and meet the faces behind the struggle. This is going to be real, this is going to be raw, and this is going to be unforgettable. Let's go. I remember the first time I walked these streets, I was terrified. I'm not gonna lie, the images you see on TV, the stories you hear, they paint a grim picture. But what I found was so much more complex, so much more human. I saw pain, yes, but I also saw resilience. I saw despair, but I also saw hope. I saw people who had been knocked down time and time again, but who were still fighting to get back up. It started with small gestures, bringing food, water, clean socks, simple things that we take for granted every day. And slowly, cautiously, people started to open up. They shared their stories, their struggles, their dreams. They told me about the families they had lost, the jobs they had lost, the lives they had lost. But they also told me about their hopes for the future, their dreams of a better tomorrow. There was this one woman, Maria, who used to be a teacher. She lost her job, her house, everything, after a series of unfortunate events. But she never lost her love of learning. She would spend hours reading books she found in the trash, and she would share her knowledge with anyone who would listen. She taught me about history, about literature, about life. She reminded me that even in the darkest of times, there is always beauty to be found. And then there was this young man, David, who was trying to get clean. He had been struggling with addiction for years, but he was determined to turn his life around. He went to meetings every day, he volunteered at a local soup kitchen, and he never gave up hope. He showed me that recovery is possible, that even the deepest wounds can heal. These are just two of the countless stories I've heard in Kensington. Stories of loss, stories of struggle, but also stories of hope, stories of resilience, stories of love. These are the stories that need to be told. These are the stories that need to be heard, because these are the stories that remind us of our shared humanity. These are the stories that remind us that we are all in this together. Leaving Kensington is never easy. Every time I drive away, I feel a pang of guilt, a sense of helplessness. I know that I'm going back to my comfortable life while they're still struggling to survive. But I also know that I'm not abandoning them. I'm committed to telling their stories, to raising awareness, to fighting for change. And that's where you come in, fam. You have the power to make a difference. You can donate to local charities. You can volunteer your time. You can simply spread the word. Every little bit helps. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect. Kensington has taught me so much about life, about love, about the human spirit. It's shown me that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, hope can still flourish. It's shown me that we are all connected, that we are all responsible for each other. So let's not turn a blind eye to the suffering in our world. Let's not judge those who are struggling. Let's reach out a hand, offer a smile, and show them that they are not alone. Let's remember that we are all human and that we are all deserving of love, respect, and dignity. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for listening to these stories. And thank you for being a part of the BVTV family. Together we can make a difference. Keep it real, y'all, and never lose hope.